It's True Value Hardware, making your life easier.
Well, good Saturday morning, everyone, and welcome back to another Best Little Home Improvement Show in the 4 states as we sit down with Denny Heydrich from Heydrich's True Value at 15th National right here in Fort Scott. And Denny, good morning.
Good morning, Larry. How are you?
Hey, it's Saturday. You can't beat a Saturday morning here in Southeast Kansas.
Exactly.
And, you know, before we start, you are not just in Fort Scott. You've got another location as well.
Yes, down in Girard.
Yeah.
On that little bit different kind of location. It's just appliances only, not hardware. And then we also carry the power equipment down there, too.
All right, so you can Girard or Fort Scott, either one of those places. Yep. But we appreciate you taking the time on a Saturday morning to come in and talk about some of the great home improvement projects that we've talked about over the last, it's been over a year now we've been doing this. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And today we're going to be talking about making sure you got clean grout when it comes to your tile and how to recaulk that shower or bathtub. These are two projects that kind of go hand in hand.
They really do, on that, because a lot of times you'll see a lot of tiled wall surrounds in showers and stuff, tile floors in bathrooms. And, of course, they're not limited to just bathrooms. A lot of people have them in kitchens and every place else.
Tile seems a lot more popular now than it did 5-6 years ago.
Oh, yeah. And it's a pretty hard surface, but it's pretty good flooring.
And the thing is, for a simple DIYer like me, it's actually a pretty simple product to install and to grout yourself.
Yeah, it's really not bad on there, as long as you don't run yourself into a corner where you can't get out.
That is true. You put that grout in and it looks so nice, whether you're doing it in the kitchen or doing it in the shower stall or you're doing it somewhere in the bathroom. But eventually, it seems like time takes its toll, and you eventually get some dirt on that grout, or sometimes you even get mold when it's in some certain places. And you got to find a way to get this cleaned out. Yeah, exactly
right. And because it is such a pumice type surface, and everything, so it's got a lot of little nooks and crannies that it can catch dust and everything like that. Yeah. One of the big reasons why, after you get done doing that grouting job, you definitely want to put a sealer over that grout and everything, because otherwise it'll get dirty a lot quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to talk about cleaning that grout. And I know a lot of people have certain nice homemade remedies to make this work. Now, I have never found a homemade remedy off Facebook or off the internet that actually worked as well as what they promised to do. But what we're going to be talking about today is a tried and true method to get that as clean as you possibly can. So
there is a lot of different homemade recipes and stuff like that. There's some homemade recipes, if you're not careful, can get you and yourself into an awful lot of problems. Some of the things that they recommend that you can use is combinations of vinegar, baking soda, ammonia, hydrogen peroxide, dishwashing detergent. But on the second page in this little article that we've got here, Larry, it says there's some really strong warnings. Never mix ammonia and bleach together on that, because that can give you some very caustic fumes, toxic fumes. And then vinegar and bleach should never meet.
Yeah, that makes chlorine gas.
Yeah, chlorine gas, which can be very toxic.
Yeah, so you want to be careful when you're mixing these. Not everything that you have under your sink is safe to use with everything that you've got under your sink. So,
exactly right.
You got to be careful when it comes to that. So.
And we do carry some commercially grade quality grout cleaner too in the store, and everything, and that you can pretty well be safe, that you don't have to worry about it.
All right.
But and then the other thing you want to do is get an old toothbrush on that. Okay, don't use the same one.
Yeah. Or get one of the kids.
Yeah, get one of the kids. Yeah, right. Yeah, they may not ever know. They never use it anyhow. They just tell you they do.
They just run it under the water. So.
Right. Yeah. But you get one of those. You get this mixture. You want to work in about a 1 foot by 2 foot area and work on all the grout lines within that area. Then come back after you get, and you're scrubbing those, you're putting the grout cleaner down. You generally, as a rule, you want to let it set for 5 to 10 minutes on that. Let it work on the grout and everything. And then go ahead and you can take it out. You can brush it in with the brush. Then you can come along and wipe it off and everything. And unless you've got really let it go too long, it's not as bad a project as a guy thinks it is. It comes out pretty good.
Yeah. If you start to clean it at the first sign of a problem, it's better than wait until it's totally black and then you try to start spinning that off then.
Because that's when it gets bad. And that's when, too, bleach is kind of required on that, because you've got to kill, that's generally mildew, and that's generally a bacteria, and so you got to kill that bacteria on there. But you've got to be real careful. That's another thing they warn in this article, is that bleach and grout, bleach can be very bad on grout, be very tough on grout.
Okay.
So you don't want it too full of strength. So you want to mix it. They recommend 1 part bleach to 5 parts water.
Wow, so you're really diluting
Yeah,
that.
you really got to dilute it down, because otherwise you may be regrouting rather than rather than just sealing it when we're done.
All right, so get that all cleaned out. And what's some of the good commercial cleaners that you carry?
Yeah,
What are some good ones?
well, there's Homax makes some, and we've got some different brands in there that I can't recall them right off the top of my head right now, but I think we've got 2 different varieties, and they do a super job of cleaning.
And seeing here some of the remedies that you can also use, taking hydrogen peroxide and mixing that with baking soda, using that in a paste, a thick paste. You want to use that. Oxygen bleach with water, another good way. Equal parts water and commercial oxygen bleach like OxyClean, those types of things, and using that out of a spray bottle. That's another good way to do that. So.
Yeah, that's generally the way most commercial ones have got a little bit of a spray to it and everything, and you can kind of control, because you don't want too much of that cleaner getting on to the tile itself too.
Sure.
Because some tile it could cause some damage to the finish on some of the tile.
All right, so we get that all nice and clean. We got our grout restored to the color it's supposed to be, and all the mildew, the mold is all gone, and we've wiped down the wall. We make it all clean. Now is the time to step in and make sure that you seal that grout.
Absolutely. On that, we've washed all that sealer you put on it initially. That's all gone off now with the chemicals that we've used and everything. So it's very crucial and very critical to seal that grout now, so that you're not having to come back and do this again in a very short time.
Right. So get that sealed. And do you carry any sealer?
We do carry the sealer
Okay.
in stock and everything.
All right, so make sure that you get that all nice and sealed and everything is nice and pretty and looking good when it comes to your grout. Then we need to take the next step, and we need to take a look at that caulking, because odds are if the grout is nasty and dirty, the grout, the caulk line has become the same.
It probably has. And, caulking, of course, and it's a totally different type of material than the grout is.
Oh, sure.
The grout is pretty hard and inflexible, where, your caulking has to be flexible, because you're actually... You use caulking wherever you've got 2 different types of surfaces, because those surfaces are going to move at different rates when they expand and contract and stuff.
Now we're getting into physics.
Yeah, right. But I mean, with the caulk, it does have that flexibility. Right. So as long as you get a good adhesion to each one of the surfaces, it should move without pulling loose.
All right. So what we want to do now is we got the clean grout, we've got it sealed. Now we want to make the rest of it look really good, and we need to. Unfortunately, we can't save the caulk. Now we've got to get rid of that. So first thing we need to do is remove it.
Remove it, yeah. And we have a little tool in the store that has a little hook on it that you can, once you can get underneath of the grout, or underneath of the caulk, and you can hook onto it, and generally you can pull out a pretty good string of it all at one time. But it doesn't come out totally clean on that. And this is, again, this is much like painting, in that the surface preparation is all the key to how successful your project's going to be, and everything. So you want to go ahead and make sure and clean all the residue out. You can do it with, like you may have on your tile, there may be some residue on it. If you can't get it off there, they make caulking removing chemicals.
Wow, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, that'll go through and it'll remove it. Kind of breaks it down, which we carry some of those in stock and everything. Or you can take a razor blade scraper.
This is what I've heard of before.
Right, yeah, and that razor blade scraper, kind of scrape it into the valley, what you're going to be caulking and everything.
Right.
Then you get out your wet and dry vac and suck that baby clean, and then you want to wipe it down down, the very last thing you want to do is you want to wipe it down. After you've got the surface totally prepared, wipe it down with rubbing alcohol. Okay, that rubbing alcohol, and definitely make sure you give it plenty of time to dry or evaporate off the surface. That's the nice thing about rubbing alcohol. It'll evaporate without leaving a residue on the surface.
Because we want that to be perfectly clean for the adhesive properties of the
Yes.
caulk to adhere to.
Right, yeah. Because if it doesn't, because again, remember, as those two different surfaces are moving back and forth, they're going to put a lot of torque on that caulk. And so that caulk has to be attached real well on both sides.
All right. So now we need to get ready to, as you said, like we prepare to paint, we need to actually really mask the joints that we're going to be using.
Yeah, and I read that, and I've never done that when I've caulked, but, it makes a heck of a lot of sense on that. Is you can have a nice, square, straight caulking edge, and everything that looks really, really good. And so you just put down a painter's tape on both sides of the crack that you're going to be caulking and everything, and then you come along. Of course, using a caulking gun, if you've never used one before, they can be,
It takes a little bit of practice to get good with it.
Yes, to get good with them, because they do. I mean, they don't stop. Number one, they don't stop when you let off of the trigger.
But they will start before you start squeezing it sometimes.
And sometimes they'll do that too. So remember, if you want to stop a caulking gun, your best bet is let off the trigger and then release the pressure on the rod that's pushing through the caulking deal. So, but keep bearing that in mind. The first thing that you want to do, though, is you get that caulking tube, you look and see about how wide your biggest crack is, and then you want to cut a 45-degree angle in that plastic tube on the end of the caulking gun on that. And by cutting that 45-degree angle, what you do is you put basically a point that's going to really push that material into the crack.
And we want to make sure we cut that hole the right width
Yes.
in the tube, because if you cut it too narrow, you're not going to have near enough caulking coming out of there. And if you cut it too wide, it's going to be a big globby mess.
Yeah,
when it gets
then you got a whole
done,
bunch
so.
of cleanup and everything, and you're wasting an awful lot. So that's why I say you want to really kind of measure, look at your biggest joint, and then kind of cut it so that it will suffice with it. Or if you're going to use, a lot of times it'll take more than one caulking tube to do it. And so if you got a lot of little joints, you might cut a smaller one in one caulking tube, and then you got the ones that go around the tub and stuff like that. That's generally a little bit bigger crack. Then you could use a secondary tube for that.
All right.
And then the caulk you want to use is very, very important.
And that's what I was going to say, because I have been into hydrates to get caulking, and you've got only like 40 different kinds to choose
like
from.
There's
there.
8 foot running of caulks, and there's all kinds of caulking. First thing that you look for is something that says kitchen and bath. Okay, because that means that it's made. It generally a kitchen and bath caulking will have a mildewcide built into it for mildew and stuff like that.
All right.
So and they do require. I mean, that caulk has to have a little bit different properties to it to adhere to like a ceramic tile than it would to adhere to wood.
All right.
Like if you're using an outdoor caulk.
Okay.
On that, which never should be done, because you've also got an odor that sometimes stays on that outdoor caulk for a long time.
Okay. All right, so we want to make sure we get the right kind. And I would say that with the professionals I know at Hydra's True Value, you can come in and say, hey, I've got my porcelain tub going in a ceramic tile, or I've got vinyl on the walls. You guys can tell me what kind I really need to have when I get ready to put this down.
Yeah, we'd be more than happy to advise you on that.
Okay, all right, so that's the easiest thing to do. Now, one thing about this mask, the masking tape, do we take that off while the caulking is still wet, or do we?
Yeah,
we
definitely.
If we wait for it to dry, we're going to have some problems.
Yeah, we're going to have some major problems if we wait for it to dry.
All right.
So basically what you're going to do is you're going to peel up that excess with it. And generally as a rule, you do this though, Larry, after, once you put that caulk down, you've also got to come along now and you've got to skim it in, or you've got to work it in. And you do that. There's tools. We have, again, another tool that'll do that. We also have a very good tool to do that right on the very end of our finger.
That's what I was going to say. That's the one I always
use.
Right
that fingertip, and everything. Stick it down in some water, or put a little bit of maybe cooking oil or something like that on it, so that it doesn't stick to you, and then you can make a really nice bead with your finger.
Oh yeah,
On
absolutely.
that. And so you've got to do that first, though, because if you try to pull the tape off before you do that, you could be pulling some of that stuff out
Okay.
on that you in a critical area that you need.
All right. So we tool the cock, we get it all finished up, and then we pull off the mask after we do that, and we take a look at it, and we think, man, that looks really, really good by the time it's all said and done.
Or we might say, gee, boy, that looks crappy. Remember, that's the nice thing about caulk. As long as it hasn't set, you can go ahead and pull it right back out again, and redo that joint if you don't like the way that it looks.
Just dig in with that finger again and dig in and dig some
Break
out
that
and go
baby
right
in.
back in. So,
but again, make sure you get it good and clean before you come back and do it.
all right.
Okay.
So that's the way you do that. Now, anything from the caulk to the scraper, to the tool to remove it, to the caulking itself. You can get that all at Hydrix True Value right here in Fort Scott.
We have it right there. So.
All right, boy, that's easy to do. 15th and National Hydrix True Value open today until 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock tonight. I don't know why I always get your Saturday hours wrong.
Saturdays, right. But
till
Sundays,
6.
you are right.
Yeah,
at 5
Sundays
o'clock.
from 1 to 5. And
Right.
if you are looking at something a little bit bigger, maybe you're going to be doing something outside. Maybe this is the weekend. You think, wow, it's a little bit warm. The winds have finally died down. This would be a great weekend for me to power wash the house. You've got power washers and all the other tools and necessities for those projects right over in the Just Ask Rental Center.
Just Ask Rental section. And, I was telling you early on one of our other shows that we're in the process of working on a true rental website. It is not 100% done, but it is unveiled.
I think they call that the beta version.
Yeah,
So that's,
right. That's what it is. It's a beta version. We still got some pricing that we got to get on in a few areas and stuff. A lot of it does have pricing on it,
All right.
but some of the smaller stuff we don't have the pricing on yet. But
Well, that's a big help when you're setting up your budget, because a lot of people, they've got to set up a budget. No, this is what we can do to make this project work. So then you can start working in those numbers very easily into that budget to know this is the tool we can get and make things look good.
right, and make it so much faster.
Yeah.
It'll save you so much labor with the right tool.
Now, what is the website for that?
Okay, all right. You can go to it. Eventually, you'll be able to get to it from our HydrixTrueValue.com, HydrixTrueValue.com website. Okay, You'll have a link there. But right now, last time I looked, I hadn't got that set yet. So it's rental.HydrixTrueValue.com.
All right, so that's still
We'll
easy
get
to
to
get
it.
to. All
Yeah.
right, and I'm sure here soon we'll have the Facebook page. You'll be able to link from all that stuff right there at the Facebook page
We've
as
got
well.
the Facebook page set up for it, and we'll have a Twitter now, too,
Oh,
on
wow.
that.
All right.
Coming right up there.
You are the master of social media now. so-
Well, the people that are doing it for me are.
Well, we need to get you Instagram, Snapchat, all those other things as well.
No, I don't know much about them.
Slowly. Yeah, I don't either. That's why I've got kids. They
Yes,
take care
right.
of that
Yeah, exactly.
for me. All right. So HydrixTrueValue.com. That's
Right.
the website to check out. Follow them on Twitter. Follow them on Facebook. They would love to have you there as well.
Yeah, and when you go to our website too, we're going to start posting the best little home improvement radio shows
Yeah.
too.
So if you're
on that.
listening today and think, man, I'd like to go back and listen to a couple
forgot
parts of that.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
you can go
right.
back and listen to it again right there.
Right.
And don't forget all these projects you can find on the website as well, as you can just pull up all the projects there. And you can see this one, and maybe you'll find something else that interests you there that you can get done around the home this weekend as well. So Denny, as always, big thank you. And I'm looking forward to April 30th. I just found out I'm going to be coming out for the garden party.
Good
So,
deal, good
yeah,
deal.
I
That
can't
sounds
wait for
good.
that one, so-
Well, we'll save a hot dog for you.
Hey, that's
On that.
maybe two.
Yeah, maybe 3. And you can go out and you can pet the girls as animals or exotic
All right,
animals.
So two girls in a zoo going to be
Yeah,
coming back.
two girls
so-
in a zoo is gonna be
Boy,
there,
that's
too.
always they're a lot of fun.
I tell you, the little kids have a blast.
Yeah, big kids too. Trust me.
Well,
on that
yeah,
one.
big kids too. Yeah, exactly.
That's coming up on April the 30th, but you don't have to wait till the 30th to go into Hydrix True Value and enjoy all the great stuff that they got in there. Denny, as always, we appreciate you taking the time to come in on this Saturday morning.
All right, Larry, thank you.
Denny Heydrich, our guest this morning from Hydrix True Value, located at 15th and National right here in Fort Scott. Denny Heydrich, our guest on the best little home improvement show in the 4 states.
Hydrix True Value Hardware.